I've been accused of being a pedophile. Yes, that's true.
DSP cries it.
Hello, and welcome to James, the Lesser Express Lane, where we get you in and out as fast as possible with DSP hates women. So when this video game with a hot woman in it, like Stellar Blade, he's gonna hate it without he didn't even play the demo. Didn't play it on stream, didn't play it off stream, just refused to play the demo. Well, let's watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about Stellar Blade. Now, the entire discourse around Stellar Blade here on this channel in the last several months is very simple. Looks good, meaning gameplay elements sound good, right? The combat, the bosses, how you play it, all seems interesting. The problem is the head of this game development team, the guy who's infamously known for doing over-the-top sexualized characters in his games, that's what he's...
Telco? Oh, wait, no, that guy's did Nier Automata. So, how do you know this, DSP? How does a guy who doesn't research anything about anything know this? I wonder.
He's known for. Like, that's his thing. That's his shtick. And because of that, people seek out his kind of games who like that kind of stuff. Now, listen. I've played Tomb Raider. I've played Bayonetta. I've played Nier Automata. I've played games with sexualized characters before. It's really not that big of a deal. But in this case...
In this case, we refuse to play the game.
With this game being hyper-focused on the sexuality of the main character. Oh, she's based on a model, and look at all the jiggle physics we put into the game.
It's not based on sexuality. Yes, she's hot. Well, that's why they used a model. The actual focus of the game is, guess what? Gameplay mechanics, which are apparently more Sekiro than they are Dark Souls. Like, apparently it's all about getting the timing right for your parries. You can't parry because you can't get the timing right, you're screwed. Which means I'll probably never fucking play it because I can never get my timing right on those. That's why I just cannot play Sekiro at all, because I just cannot get the fucking timing on it. It sucks because it's a great fucking game. I just can't fucking play it.
And all that absolutely ridiculous stuff. And also knowing my audience, all right? I know exactly how you guys are, or tend
Yeah, Derek.
to be. I mean, shit, I'll be playing a fighting game, and you guys are making sexual comments about the characters in the fighting game. I'll be playing an RPG, like Baldur's Gate 3, and people can't keep their mouths shut. So I know what would happen if I played a game like Stellar Blade. Although the gameplay may be interesting, which, I'll be honest, it'll probably, to me, appeal just as much as the gameplay of Devil May Cry or Nier Automata, which is kind of like, meh, it's okay. I'm not in love with that kind of action-paced game like that. I never have been. I wasn't a fan of the Devil May Cry series until you guys convinced me to start playing them, and still, to this day, they're kind of, meh, they're all right. They're not great, in my opinion. Same thing with Bayonetta. Like, Bayonetta 1 I thought was all right or decent. Bayonetta 2 I actually did not like, and I skipped Bayonetta 3. I didn't even care about it. So, this style...
Because there's a woman.
...of game, to me, it's not even that appealing when it comes to the gameplay element, right? But now the fact that combined with the gameplay, I'm going to have to deal with people being completely immature for the entire time that I'm playing this game, I just didn't want to deal with it. So I decided to skip it. And quite honestly, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think that it's affected me in any real negative way, especially with everything going on with Fallout right now. It seems pretty fun. So why the hell am I bringing this up right now? Because there's a huge controversy right now.
Because you're a bitch.
Around the game. Are you ready? So just a few days ago, there was a big press release. Stellar Blade will be launching worldwide uncensored. No matter what region you're in, no matter where you're living, Stellar Blade will be uncensored and the same in every region. Now, this actually is very rare when this happens, because typically games that have worldwide releases end up having to have censorship and things in certain countries. Typically, usually it's China or other particular countries that are sensitive about certain kinds of content will demand censorship in certain parts of games, and then the game devs has to scurry to do that so that the game can be released in that territory. So usually a worldwide release is not identical, okay? Notably, a game like this that is high gore and high over-sexualization of the character, you would think there'd be countries that are more conservative, known countries that were going to complain. Well, no, they stuck to their guns and said, that's it, worldwide release will all be exactly the same, okay? So the game came out...
The company wanted to do that. It was up to the company. That's exactly what would be happening. Unfortunately, Sony exists.
Yesterday. And guess what happened? So everyone has a game, right? Now, if you have a disc, you put it in your PlayStation 5. Keep in mind, it's Sony exclusive. It's a Sony exclusive game, all right? That's the partnership deal that the game dev, what are they, Something Up? I can't remember the name of the studio. Something Up, they're called. But yeah, like they did this exclusivity deal with Sony, right? So that they would basically only be on a Sony console. That's it. Shift Up. Thank you. It's called Shift Up is the name of the company that designed it. So everyone,
Thank
gets
you.
the game. First of all, if you have a disc, you put it
So he knows everything about the creator and how he loves sexualized stuff, but he has no idea the name of the company.
in. Oh, day one patch. You have to have the day one patch. If you just download it digitally, well, it already comes with the day one patch, right? People start to play it, and immediately they're noticing something. They're like, it seems like there's way less gore than what we saw in all the trailers and early gameplay that we were shown. And then they started looking at certain outfits in the game. Now, keep in mind, the outfits are ridiculously sexualized. But they're noticing, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. This looks slightly different. And some people actually did a test. So they took the game disc and put it in a PS5 and didn't do the update. They just played the game off the disc, which somehow works, which is weird because most games don't, but this one does. And they noticed something. This is day one patch, censors the game. It takes gore out and it adds more clothes to the protagonist. Wait a minute. They literally said just a couple days prior, worldwide release, no censorship, every version is the same.
Yes, the game company Shift Up said they were doing that. Sony steps in. Well, Sony's in charge. Like, hey, we're putting it on your consoles, so if you want something done, I guess we got to do it, because if we don't do it, our game doesn't release, which is unfortunate. But wait, guys, it gets better.
What the hell is this? So immediately people start going up in arms saying, wait, what? You promised us one thing and you literally lied and switched it. We didn't know that that was going to be in the day one patch, right? You didn't say it even was. So why would you do that and force that on us, right? So then apparently yesterday, as the internet started to explode in a tizzy about this, they actually interviewed the head game dev. And forgive me for not knowing this guy's name. It's my fault. I should have looked it up and I forgot.
So again, you know that this guy likes over-sexualized characters, but you don't even know his name or the company he works for. Good job, DSP.
To. And in an interview, he outright answered everyone, this was our choice. We were not forced into doing this.
Oh, fucking shit. But hey, that's what he said. Yeah, well, I don't fucking care. It's a South Korean game company. Do you really think they fucking care about this? No. Sony cares about this. And this is not the first time. Sony censored Devil May Cry a couple times. Then, what was the other game that they censored? There's another game that, you get it on the Switch, you get it on Xbox, you get it on PC. It was fine. You get it on PlayStation, it was censored to shit. It was really funny because Baldur's Gate 3, Game of the Year, Minthara literally sits on your face. You literally can have sex with a bear. Last of Us 2, the whole sex scene with Abby or whatever it is. That's fine. But don't you dare have a scantily clad woman in a JRPG or any kind of Asian game, or else.
This is something that we decided to do for ourselves with the game. So don't be angry about anyone but us, because this is our decision to change this game last minute. Despite the fact that just a few days prior, they had outright said no censorship. It's the same worldwide.
Yeah, and then Sony said, censor it, bitch. Alright, I guess we will, and I guess we gotta take the blame for it, unfortunately. Piss off Sony, our game doesn't release, that would suck.
Okay, so what is that about? So now there's two things happening. Number one, people are beginning all these crazy conspiracies about what's really happening with this game. Okay, and the crazy conspiracy is Sony forced them to do it. That they
Yes, like they've censored other games in the past. Sony has a history of this, which is unfortunate. Only when it comes to Japanese, Asian-style games. Western game, you can have all the sex and nudity and blood and gore you want. Asian game, don't you dare show skin.
they didn't want to do it. That wasn't their intention. That's why just a few days before the game's release, they had outright said that they weren't doing it, and then Sony forced them to do it. Okay? Now, let's say that's the case, right? Why would Sony have forced them to do it last minute, but not said anything about it, right? Well, I mean, I think the answer is very clear here. The entire marketing campaign of Stellar Blade has been focused around the uncensored nature of this game, its gore and sexuality. That's what the game is selling on. Do you know anyone who's really been discussing, the intricacies of the gameplay and the combat system?
Yes. Yes. If you follow the people who are big on From Software games, like Iron Pineapple and Fighting Cowboy, guess what? Those kind of guys talk about how the parrying and deflection system is on point. Like, that's been the big thing. Is like, it's a very tight window, but if you get the timing down, it is so much fun. And one thing that they really been liking is that in a Dark Souls Sekiro game, the enemy swings once, you parry, you attack back. In Stellar Blade, enemy swings, you parry. You might have to parry right again, because they might get 2 or even 3 attacks off in a row. And not just bosses. Trash mobs will do the same thing. So you better be on point with the parry game or you're going to fucking die. A lot. Now, as someone who likes the From Software games and follows people who like those games as well, it's been interesting to read their reactions to this. It's been interesting to read about how, like, the timing reminds them so much of Sekiro with the parrying system and all that, but better. Yes, I fucking hated Sekiro because it kicked my ass and I did not have the reflexes for it. But Sekiro was still a great fucking game. And if the people who love these kind of games are saying that Stellar Blade is like Sekiro when it comes to parrying system and all that, but better, holy shit, it's gonna be a great fucking game, I'm sure.
Whatever. No, here's what I'm seeing on social media. Oh, look, the main character's going up a ladder and we zoomed in on her ass, right? And look at this scene. Oh, look, the nearly skin color outfit that makes her look like she's nude. That's all you're seeing on the internet about this game. You're literally not seeing anything about the substance of the game. You're only seeing stuff about the over-sexualization of it. And I've talked about this over the last couple of months. I'm going to restate what I've said up to this point.
You're a fucking idiot. Yeah, we know.
Only reason that this game has received hype, that anyone hyped it up and said, oh, it's a must-have game, it's a must-play game, is because they made that design choice. If the main character of Stellar Blade was a roided dude, no one would be talking about this game whatsoever.
Really? God of War, anyone? I guess God of War franchise no longer exists. Good to know, DSP.
The only reason this game got the hype it did is because they decided to have an over-sexualized female protagonist, right? Most people who were so hype about the game were buying it for that reason. And so they know this. So Sony, well knowing that they want to censor the game, they're not going to announce it early. Why would they? If they said, oh, by the way, we're censoring the game, everyone would cancel their pre-orders. Everyone would go be up in arms and causing a big controversy around the game. So instead, they allowed an actual misinformation campaign to go on the internet about this game. They 100% purposefully designed and allowed it to happen. So that way, everyone would still be hyped for the game and have their orders in. And then they 100% last minute did the bait and switch and did this patch without even telling anyone, hoping that most people wouldn't notice. But we all know about how absolutely positively hyper-focused on minutia the internet gaming community is. And I knew they would find it if it existed. So they found it right away, and now the controversy begins. So the question is, how on earth does Shift Up get away with, like, 2 days before the game's release saying uncensored worldwide release and then censoring it on release and then saying, oh, we intended for that?
Now, another reason why people are so up in arms over this is you censor this now. What about the next patch that comes out? What are they going to censor next? Oh, they're not going to censor anything else left in the game. Great. What about a sequel? What are they going to censor in a sequel if a sequel comes out? Or another RPG comes out from the studio. What's going to get censored next? Why is it Western games can have full-on sex scenes and Thor literally sitting on your face, or the Abby sex scene and all that in Last of Us 2, but you don't you dare have a sexy protagonist in an Asian game, or all hell breaks loose and we gotta censor it. It's all about what are they going to censor next. Which is funny because on Steam, yes, you gotta get the H patch for the really good content in some of those games, but you can get them on Steam. Or on Switch. I straight up have a couple games on there that's like, oh, I'm gonna have to play this for Pornhub and not YouTube because this ain't gonna be allowed on there. And even games that would be allowed on YouTube, apparently they're not allowed, even though they don't actually show stuff like that. And yet, it's still on the Switch. The family console, as DSP likes to say. How come the family console can have that stuff on it, but not Sony? And again, Stellar Blade is a rated mature game. 17 and older. Why do you gotta censor shit in something that's supposed to be 17 and older? Same thing for rated R movies. Like, well, you can't show that in a rated R movie. What a kid sees it. Well, what the fuck is the kid doing watching this movie? It's a rated R movie. Well, maybe they have really shitty parents and parents don't watch. Well, then that's on the parents.
right? So that's one half of the controversy, is that people are saying this is totally on Sony. Sony must have forced this on Shift Up because Shift Up would have never wanted this for their game. But because they have the Sony exclusive partnership for this distribution on PS5, it must be that they forced it on them. All right, so evil Sony, evil corpos is one half of the controversy. The other half is people are like, well, that's it. We were lied to. If that's the case, I'm returning my game. I'm canceling my pre-order. I'm making sure that no one plays this game. We're boycotting Stellar Blade. I'm not kidding you. Yes, there's a group of thousands of people on this internet right now, okay, that are boycotting Stellar Blade.
Also, Twitter shows you sometimes a curated audience. So if you curate, say, people who like From Software games, guess what you see? A lot of people talking about From Software games. Like Iron Pineapple finding an Iron Pineapple in that crab game that DSP played today. Was it another Crab's Treasure? Yeah, there's an Iron Pineapple in it. Like, that is really cool that the company that made the Another Crab's Treasure knows about Iron Pineapple. How much he loves these kind of games. So they put an Iron Pineapple in the game. That is so fucking cool. But if you're DSP, I guess all you see is half-naked women. Gee, I wonder what he's curating on his Twitter.
Play because it has a censorship patch from Sony. And there's a big movement on the I'm canceling my PlayStation Plus subscription. Hit them where it hurts, right in the pocketbooks. Make sure they know we're not going to stand for this censorship. Okay? And that's actually what's happening right now. Now, I have a question for everyone out there. Allow me to dust myself off to prepare for this one, because now it's time to drop the bomb. All right?
Thank you for that, DSP. Everyone wants to hear that. But from what I've read on Twitter, Stellar Blade is great for the combat, enemy design, the boss fights are really good. So if you actually focus on what matters in a game, the gameplay and all that, it's a great fucking game. If I get it for like $20 on sale, I might try it. Just because, I mean, I do like those style of games. My reflexes, I'm too fucking slow for those kind of games. But if it's really that fucking good, I still want to try it if I can get it on sale.
Excuse me. Are you ready for this? If people were actually interested in Stellar Blade because it was a good game with good gameplay mechanics, why would they be boycotting it now because of a minor censorship patch? The gameplay is exactly the same. The story is exactly the same. All the elements of playing it are exactly the fucking same. So why would you boycott it unless you were buying it for the sexual content? I rest my fucking case.
Shut the fuck up. Again, they censor this now. What's the next patch going to censor? And if they don't censor anything else in the game, what happens on the sequel? Or another game gets released by this company? Or a completely different company gets released on Sony, but it's Asian. I get why Shift Up had to do it, because Sony tells them you gotta do this, well, you gotta fucking do it. Like, they're in charge. It's their console. But I would have liked the guy of Shift Up be going to Sony like, hey, play the clip, watch Abby get fucked in Last of Us 2. Play the next one, Mythar sending someone's face. Play the next clip, Bear fucking someone. Play the next clip, Karlak making out with Shadowheart completely naked in their sex scene. Play the next one, just keep playing over and over all these different games that have nudity and sex in them that Sony doesn't censor. Play them all, back to back to back, and then be like, alright, how come our game isn't allowed to show a little skin? Why is she not allowed to show skin? Well, these games are flat out allowed to have full-on sex in them. Please, explain it to me like I'm DSP. Fucking hell, DSP. You were never going to play the game. You were never going to enjoy the game. Even if you did play, you're going to shit on it the entire time like you did with Baldur's Gate 3. And unless someone showed up and made sure you had $100 every stream you played it on the day stream, you would never finish it. How do you not understand that people don't like censorship? Even if it's something like this, like, alright, well, the gameplay is still the same and all that. Although, it's not just a sexualization. He even said it. It's not as blood and gory. So the violence isn't there. Well, I want a good, hardcore, violent game. Oh, this is going to be it? Cool. Wait a minute, they took out the violence. Well, That's one of the things I was interested in. I just don't fucking get it. Don't censor shit, people. If it's for adults, don't censor it. If a movie or a TV show, video game, a book, whatever is for adults, why fucking censor it? Or if you really want, you can make 2 versions. They've done that before for movies, where they have a PG-13 movie and then they have the rated R version, like Deadpool. Deadpool literally had a Deadpool PG-13 version for Deadpool 2. You can do that if you want. But stop censoring shit if it's for adults. With that, I'll let you guys go. Thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, comment down below, and have one hell of a day.